reason we're here is for the soundtrack. Because I had an idea. I didn't know what to do with this idea, but people kept asking me before and during the filming, what's the music going to be? Who's the composer going to be? And I said, the one thing I hear is the music from Semana Santa.
When I said to Annie, quite early on, Annie, I need to know the music. What's the music for this film? She would say to me, I really don't know, Chris, but I have this fantasy about a Semana Santa band in Seville.
And Semana Santa is Holy Week, which is a really big deal in Seville. And they have, every church has these bands of amateur musicians, and they're mainly horns, either trumpets or cornetas, and drums. And they process through the streets with somebody carrying a statue of the Virgin from their church. And it's very dramatic music. It's like, to me, it's the sound of horns being overplayed. It's really thrilling, and it's got an interesting relationship with the sound of the bagpipe. And when we chose Jim for our composer, he was immediately excited about this idea and felt that he had to write something with both. Jim, I'm talking about you.
When we found Jim Sutherland, the composer, we had a very clear sense of what the musical world of the film might be and where it began.
We found the best Semana Santa band in Sevilla, and they're called, I love their title though, called La Hermandad de las Tres Caídas, and that's the Brotherhood of the Three Falls. And it's the 3 times Jesus fell carrying the cross. Tonight we go to the rehearsal, the band's rehearsal. And tomorrow our pipers arrive from Pitlochry. We have 13 bagpipe players, including the best player in Scotland, Gordon Duncan, and his brother's band, which is the Drambuie Pipe Band. And we have no idea how these guys are going to get along with each other. There's only a few Spanish speakers. Well, we've got Angela from the Seville Film Office. Gallo, who lives in Edinburgh, is Chilean, and he can speak to the Spanish musicians and the Scottish musicians. Jim, our composer, speaks a little bit of Spanish, so it'll be interesting how we communicate tomorrow. And to be honest, we're all a bit worried about it, that it's going to be it could be a disaster. It's an ambitious thing to do in one weekend in Seville. It has to be on a weekend because the musicians are all people who have ordinary jobs, so they can't work during the week.
The band makes so much noise when they rehearse that they couldn't do it in Seville. They go to an industrial estate outside of Seville on a Friday night. And those guys, there's about 100 guys in the band, and they go every Friday night all year long. And in Semana Santa week, which comes in a month, they spend 7 days following their statue, the platform with the statue on it, processing through the streets of Seville. And there are about 25 bands from 25 different churches in Seville. We've heard this band playing in rehearsal before a month ago when we were here, but this will be the first time that we've heard them playing Jim's music.
We went to meet the band and they split them up for rehearsals. Half were working in the warehouse and half were rehearsing out in the street. I think it's going to work.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, that's going to have the pipes in it as well, you see. So,
are you happy, Jim?
Well, I will be when I hear 12 pipers not drowning them out. That's what will make me happy. Because I'd like to see more people playing, I think, at the moment. But sounds good, yeah. It sounds good. I might cry now. thought it was great last night. They obviously put in an awful lot of work, and this is a bunch of musicians who learn by ear and play by ear, and the way they learn is by one person learns it, teaches another three, those three teach another three each, and eventually they learn their parts. But we're still at this kind of thing where people are used to doing something one way, you know, and we really want this to sound like it could be happening in the street, it could be outside, you know, it's part of the festival. It's kind of, so we don't want it to sound like a studio recording that's off a record in the foyer of the hotel or something like that.
Buenos días, buenos días. Buenos días, buenos días, buenos días.
One of the really interesting things that's kind of come through is that, you know, a lot of the musicians that we've worked with are ear learners and not readers. And I think you get something very particular when you get people who play by ear and who learn by ear, because they never learn it quite right, but they put something of themselves into it, and I think that's really great. And I think that's what we're getting here with the band. You get them as much as the music, and so I want to capture that by not putting lots of close mics up on them, and for the sound of the band to mix in the air and not be mixed in the desk, because there's a certain vibration when you hear a chord mixing in the air that you don't hear the same way when you mix it on a mixing desk.
Vale, segunda, tercera y todo lo fricorno.
My Spanish is creaking at the seams at the moment. ¿Qué tal is about as good as it goes. It's a bit more than that.
The band to be there, or the band to be there, but not on a circle. This isn't how I'm recording it, and that's how we're doing it. We're doing it my way. Gallo, bit by bit, okay?
Right.
Bit by bit, and I'll just say a few words, and then you do them, and then I'll say a few words more. We want the whole band together.
Quieren toda la banda junta.
It's going to be different from the way they usually do it.
Va a ser diferente como lo hacen normalmente.
Por favor.
Striptease is number one, correct? Very good.
It's not quite there yet.
Entonces nosotros entraríamos en la última, ¿vale? Entonces vamos a escuchar cla, 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 cla. Esa es una, ta, 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 ta.
Venga, vale.
Okay.
Ok, vámonos.
So let's take 8 bars. Let's take slightly more than we want.
Venga, por favor.
Okay, stop. It's okay though, because that's not the bit we want. It's the bit before that. We do one more go. Pepe, uno más.
Se puede cambiar, ¿no?
Sí, no hay problema. Pero el problema es que ya una vez que se ha entrado ahí,
Uno más, please.
ya.
Por favor. Pepe, that's the bit. That's the bit. One more. Uno más. Stop. Gallo. Could we say this one time? When I say stop, we stop, because everybody's going to get tired if I don't say. Muy bien. One more take, but this time we don't need to go to the end.
Hello.